Steph, we're talking a little bit to Coach Reeve about all the expansion stuff, and I'm just wondering, as somebody obviously who went through expansion at the very beginning, just your thoughts on now. It's sort of like there's this added emphasis for NBA franchises. For a while, we were getting away from that. Do you think that's a positive thing that there's so much more interest from NBA teams in owning WNBA teams?
I think it's a positive thing. Certainly having built-in fan bases, shared expenses, all of those things. I think NBA arenas and the way that we're filling NBA arenas, and we are at a point where we're outgrowing some of the smaller independent ones, and opportunities to play in these arenas is big time. And I think ownership opportunities and understanding the business model. I remember back in the early years, we were looking at the business model of the NBA and how long it took the NBA before it really took off. And I can't imagine we're that far off when you talk about the number of years that it actually took. Certainly it's different in terms of the media and social media and all of the things that we're exposed to now. But I think it's an exciting time.
With Caitlin and her status, just how did she look? How did she feel today during shoot-around? And is she making progress and getting closer to playing?
She's making progress. I think, again, top of mind, I think I told you this afternoon, is just long-term. Making sure that we don't have any setbacks. Making progress and feeling good are two different things, and we want to make sure that she feels good. We want to make sure that she's confident. We want to make sure that we're not putting her in a position to have any setbacks, and that's the priority right now.
Like right in front. Coach, right in center to your left.
Thank you. You coached against these guys last year in the playoffs. They pretty much ran back with their starters. Mm-hmm. When you look at them on film now, how do they look different to you than last year?
Well, they look pretty flawless, in the way that they're playing. I don't know if different is the word as much as they look even more connected. They're a team that was connected a year ago, but really the nuance of having each other's back on the defensive end, of knowing where your teammate's going to be, discipline to coverages, the connectivity that they have on the offensive end of the floor. I mean, the way that they move with and without the ball, the way that the ball moves makes it really tough to cover. I often say that offense is like a dance, and they are flowing, man. They are making music, and there's no doubt about it. So we have to try to be disruptive, and we have to try to take them out of that rhythm.
Coach, all the way to your right in the front row.
Being part of this final and everything, how, if at all, has it felt bigger? Has it felt different and from your typical game? And how much have you tried to embrace that?
Yeah, I mean, it feels different because of all the attention, certainly. It feels different because you're playing for something. Right, you're playing for money. You're playing for a trophy. You're playing for an opportunity to say that you won the cup. And so it feels different in that way. We're all embracing that. I think it's very much an exciting thing for our players. It's an exciting thing for our staff. It gets you a little bit of an additional adrenaline rush. But the competition takes another step when you get into positions like this where you're playing for something.
Coach, right in the center.
You mentioned the way the Lynx play and just playing together. Is that something as a coach that kind of you study and try to pull things from and apply to your group, or is it two different things, I guess?
I don't know if it's two different things as much as, it's very personnel based. Having the right pieces, making sure that you have the right pieces to fit the system that you want to play. It's manipulating sometimes the way that opponents are playing you and being able to make changes and adjustments quickly. I mean, not only are they really great players, but they're veteran players. Right? They understand this league. They understand how to problem solve in real time. They understand that it takes all of them, and they embrace that.
Coach, in the last row to your left.
Steph, going back to the question of expansion and kind of a broader question with that, with the number of new players that will be coming into the league with these new teams, I'm curious if you think the age restrictions that exist for the W right now, with being 22 or a college graduate, should be revisited or relooked at, given the number of young stars, you coach one in particular, that are coming up through the college ranks right now?
Yeah, I think there's always opportunity to have those conversations. Certainly Our ability to draft younger players, European players, is there. I kind of like the way Major League Baseball does it too. You know, you can draft them; they can still go to college. I think everything is on the table right now in terms of conversation. Now, thinking about what are the best solutions, I'm not sure. You know, I think that's why we continue to have these conversations. You know, certainly we as coaches would like to see roster expansion as well, right? So you make sure that you have these expansion teams and you're able to fill them with players who have had experience in our league. And these are all conversations that as our league continues to grow, we've got to have.
Coach, second row to your left.
Coach, this is your first season with this batch of players, and so I'm just wondering if the Commissioner's Cup is just a stepping stone for greater things to come.
Well, I hope so. But at the same time, you know, we want to take care of business now, right? We want to win a cup. So we're not looking at it necessarily as a stepping stone. We're looking at it as an opportunity to win. And then we're looking at it, you know, as coaches as an opportunity to continue to stack days. You know, we haven't had a lot of consistency in our lineup, and so we haven't really built that camaraderie and connectedness that we need in order for us to be successful. But we can take another step towards growth, another step towards consistency. On the floor, in execution, in energy level, you know, we're playing the best team in the league right now, and we've got to come out and we got to play our A game.
Coach, you spoke just a second ago about just how well the Lynx are flowing and trying to take them out of that rhythm. I guess just for your team specifically, what are some of the keys that you see as to how exactly you're going to do that, or what you guys need to do to approach the game successfully?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got to be disruptive. You know, we've got to make sure that we play with a level of physicality that doesn't allow them to just pass the ball around where everywhere that they want to pass it. So we've got to make sure that we're disruptive. We got to make sure that we're elite at our on ball screen defense. You know, this is a team that reads really well, that moves really well. We got to be elite at the point of attack on ball screen defense. We've got to. We always talk about guarding our yard, being able to guard one-on-one, so we're not in rotation early. I think for us, it's going to have to start on the defensive end of the floor, so that allows us to get out and run in transition as well. But we can't allow them to just do exactly what they want to do on the offensive end.
Anyone else? Coach, thank you.
Thank you.